Oh shit. Here we go.
Today. So is that still going on? Yeah. Perfect. Okay. If the sound is crazy in the chat, let me know, you guys. So I thought it would, hold on, I'm gonna do something. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna mute you both and see. Maybe we just can't be unmuted together. I think this is a me problem though, honestly. So I wanted to have this conversation because I feel like a lot of times when we talk about if Black women are the mules of the Black community, if Black men are trash human beings, if the community just can't be fixed.
Alrighty, here we go. Okay. I want to say this, family. Y'all know that I love Irene Yvette. She's hella intelligent. She's thorough. She's for the Black community. She's one of the very few Black female content creators that I can actually say kind of doesn't show too much bias. So with that being said, I love Irene Yvette. So yes, I'm going to sit here on my couch and watch this with you all, and I'm going to provide commentary while I sip my Quavo, and I'm going to provide my commentary from a Black male perspective, along with being RedPill. So let's do it.
So we only focus on the men and the women are being left behind. I feel like it's important to listen to people who feel like that, but I also feel like it's sort of like with babies, not comparing people to babies. I'm just saying, when you have a hungry baby, they cry the loudest. A content baby doesn't have, they might gurgle or something, but they're not going to be as bothersome, right? So I feel the same way, the same thing applies to life. When you have people who are discontented and unhappy and are having negative experiences, their voices seem to be the loudest because happy people are busy living their happy lives. So I thought it would be great to kind of shake up the conversation a bit by having women on who are in healthy relationships and working with Black men in healthy ways. So, healthy relationships, marriages, healthy business partnerships, building with Black men, supporting Black men, and who have positive experiences in their current life with Black men and have them speak on this issue instead of always having the hurt people speak. And I think we should hear them, right? Because everything they're saying is not made up. But I think it's important that people who are having healthy experiences, that we start talking more so that our voices can be heard too, because the community is not dysfunctional everywhere. Like, we're all not having the same experience. So anyway, I want to introduce the ladies. This is Botanica and Marcia, and either one of you can pop in and kind of speak to that idea. Let's start with this. After you introduce yourself, are Black women the mules of the Black community? Are we the workhorses of the Black community? Are we doing all the work and the men aren't doing anything and the burden's really falling to us?
Absolutely not. And I don't even know where she brought this premise up from. I'm pretty sure Irene is trying to create controversy, and that's cool. Because we can have this discussion, but no, Black women are not the mules and the workhorses. Black women do work, and Black men work as well. So we're equal in that regard.
Start. So I'm Canada, and so this is a very important topic. So thank you for having us on this to discuss the topic. I don't believe that Black women are the mules. I do think that we have this, I want to save the world, I want to make a better life for my children, and I want to help everybody. So we tend to maybe overexert ourselves and put our hands in many different pots. But I don't think we're the only ones doing work. I think that if we are in partnerships with Black men, they are doing what they do. They're doing what they specialize in and what they are good at taking care of, and we are doing what we do. Plus, of course, taking care of our families, nurturing, and all of those things. So it might look like we're doing more or a lot, but I think it's just like we have our roles and what we're good at, and so do they.
Okay.
Wait, you're muted, Marcia.
I agree with Ms. Botanica. I believe that there are, well, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Ms. Marsha. I'm with Science Institute in Brooklyn, New York. Homeschooling, #1, maybe. But what I was saying was, I agree with Ms. Botanica. We're not the mules, but we have our hands in a lot of pots. At the same time, the men do what they do, and the women do what they do, and it's a group effort. Together, it's a team, and that's how it works.
But what do you guys think about?
That's a myth, though, because they. Okay, let me let this go.
What do you think about? Okay, so undeniably, like we have to be honest, right? In that, a lot of homes only have a woman leading the home, right? So she is doing the work of two people. And it can feel, because you also hear a lot of Black women saying, well, we don't feel protected. We're doing all the building in the community. So Black men are not doing anything. Black men don't want to be in long-term relationships with Black women. So they're not trying to marry us. They're not trying to have healthy families with us and things like that. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that, because one, I would make the argument that a lot of times there are lots, don't get me wrong, y'all, there are lots of homes that only have a mother in them. But I also think there are two-parent homes that are not counted as two-parent homes because of the fact that parties may not be married in a traditional legal marriage, even though they're living in the same home as married people for extended periods of time. And I think that also some of Black women raising families on their own, that some of that accountability falls to us as well, and what we choose to do with our bodies, who we couple with.
Thank you.
And things like that. So maybe we haven't made the best choice of mate, and then therefore, because we're not overwhelmingly making good mate choices, that we're finding more women in these predicaments.
To speak on that, with the mate choices, sometimes that's true. Sometimes that's true, like women see a guy, they don't care what he's like or whatever the case, they just have this fantasy in their head. But a lot of the times, these brothers change up. The person they introduce you to is not the person you end up with later on. So
Bullshit.
So yes, there's some accountability on our part. Maybe we have to wait a little bit longer to really get to know this person past 6 months, a year, because you can't pretend forever. But I would say that responsibility lies on both. Of course, I know there's a lot of guys that are like,
Okay, all right. You know what? I tried to hold my tongue. I'm triggered. All right. Okay. This is how we go do this. Brass tacks, okay? Black women, Black women, you are responsible for who you open your legs for. You are responsible for who you let ejaculate inside you. You are responsible 100% for who you bear an offspring with. If you become a single mother, it is your fault. Period.
They don't take accountability. But we do take accountability. We'll look at it like, I chose this person, that was crazy. I don't even know what I was thinking. I can't tell you how many times I've had friends of mine come to me and be like, I don't know what I was thinking. And I'll be like,
You were thinking about wood. That's what y'all was thinking about.
I don't know either, but you was in love. So that you have it. But yeah. The responsibility lies on both. Because you can't have a relationship like yourself. You know, you have to have a relationship with somebody, whether he was pretending or not. You know, so
Okay, Miss Marshall, she's full of shit. Nobody's pretending. Black, look, these dudes running around here impregnating black women and leaving them, deserting their children and all that shit. These niggas ain't pretending. Y'all know who these niggas are. These niggas ain't pretending shit. Okay? Y'all know exactly what type of niggas they is before you fuck them and after you fuck them. A lot of y'all try to change niggas. A lot of y'all are just incredibly naive. And then there's the 80-20 rule. And a lot of y'all just, just want kids, you know what I'm saying? And, you ain't trying to establish no family. So let's just cut the bullshit, okay? Niggas ain't morphing into a whole different person after he had a baby. You knew man, come on, man. Cut the bullshit.
yeah. They still count, as far as I know, they still count people who live together as being in a relationship or being a couple or family because it's called common law. After 6 years or 7 years of living with somebody, they do look at you as you guys are together. So, yeah.
Puddin', you say you disagree with me? What you mean you disagree with me?
Irene, can you clarify what was the original question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was asking about us being the mules and the workhorses, and a lot of that coming down to us lacking protection and not having leadership within our homes, and if that was in any way tied to our accountability as well as, as
How often do men pretend, Puddin'?
far as like how we're choosing mates. And is that leaving a lot of our women in predicaments where we are kind of doing all the work of two people?
Yeah, absolutely. Lack of protection. I wanna speak on that first because I know for me personally, like I had quite a journey to get to where I am now. And like before I did the self work and the loving on myself kind of work, I was in situations where brothers were not respecting and protecting me, So, but it took me really like looking at myself and like looking at that how I was showing up and how I was allowing people to treat me, and how I was treating myself to actually make the changes. Because now I'm in a situation where I'm married to someone who will protect me. I'm around brothers and Zayaks who will protect me. It's a lot of like respectable dudes that I'm around now. But before, when I was younger, it was that wasn't the case. So I know that I personally was making choices and then that just were not good. So I wouldn't be. I can't blame them. They are who they are, and it's up to me to choose to be in a relationship with them, even in friendships or in co-working relationships. So yeah, I think it is. Of course, you know, no one should be disrespecting, another person, etc. But it always falls back on us. Like, what are we choosing to allow in our states, and how are we showing up that even attracts that kind of caliber of man?
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you. I agree with what Miss Marcia is saying, which is sometimes men are just full of BS. Like, they're stepping because there's something they want, and so they're presenting, they're presenting, a side of them that is not 100% honest. But I feel like even in those.
Okay, ladies, we're gonna have this discussion. All right, this narrative that black men are just, we're deceptive, we're egregious. The sister Puddin'. Shout out to Sister Puddin'. What's up, Puddin'? She says it's men that hide families and all of this. Now look, I know that's that happens, but that's incredibly rare. Puddin'. That's not normal. Um, and yeah, we're not gonna push this narrative that black men are just deceptive and egregious, and black women are just running around making muffins, washing the clothes, being loyal, and it's all of us that just running around having all these kids out of wedlock. Come on now, because y'all know me. I am going to go there.
There are red flags and we may choose to overlook them. I think a lot of times we see that there's a problem there, but a lot of times we're lonely, right? A lot of times our esteem is not in the right place. I talked about the other day about how, 60% of black women have experienced some level of sexual abuse right before they reach 18, be that touching or full-on rape or whatever that is. And so you grow into somebody that maybe doesn't value themselves fully. And so and you also attach your value to somebody's desire to sleep with you. And so a lot of times when we're given attention by a man, right, we're so eager to have a relationship and be loved that we ignore warning signs or we give too much of ourselves too soon. And it's weird. We have this weird, thing with morality among black women, I feel, where a lot of times we want to keep, our babies and our offspring because they're ours. But then we recognize by the time we're so deep in that maybe we've made the wrong choice. And then we begrudge the role that we have to play because we picked the wrong dude. Like, he wasn't that dude. We didn't watch the warning signs, or maybe he was just an ass, but that kind of got you off. Do you know what I mean?
Let me just say this. This is not me being biased and sexist. This is universally known. Women in general cannot pick a good mate to save their lives. Okay? Women in general cannot pick a good mate to save their lives. This is why in history the father would vet the man for his daughter. Because universally speaking, women cannot pick a good mate. You can't do it to save their lives.
I mean, like, let's be honest, some of us are masochistic as well. And we like the bad boy. We like the jerk. We like kind of being treated a little bit wrong.
Some, all.
But then we think that we can rein that in when it comes time for them to be responsible in things. And when they don't turn into this new human being for us, then we feel very slighted and we start to speak from a place of hurt. So not to say that what they're doing is right, because it's not right. But just saying that, can we say that the majority of black men behave a certain way? And I guess that's my next question. Is it fair to say, because a lot of people say the majority of black men are broken, the majority of black men don't care about family, the majority of black men, and so you hear the most of them argument. Can we say that because of our personal experiences, most Black men are like the men we experience?
No.
Or is it kind of, and you were alluding to this, Botanica, where we place ourselves are the Black men that we'll be surrounded by?
My experience, I would say a lot of our Black men are broken. They've gone through some things, and because a lot of them don't really believe in, therapy or healing or talking to somebody, they think like, that's a feminine thing. They really keep those things in, and those traumas play out in their life. Just how they handle things, their attitude, their outlook on things, their perception, that all comes from things that happened in the past. And it's really hard to get a Black man to just even admit that he has an issue most of the time. And then once they do have an issue, or they figure out they've had an issue, probably because several people have said it, they're still not trying to fix that. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, a lot of patience to get to the core of what the issue is.
The core of our issues as Black men and women is white supremacy. That's the core of our issues. White supremacy. We'll never have 100% functional relationship or family under the domination of white supremacy.
And most of it, a lot of I can't even elaborate on it any more than that, but I think so.
So it is undeniable that there's a lot of trauma. It's on both parts. Men and women do experience a lot of trauma, and I think it is a little easier for women to come to terms with that. Like, oh man, like something's happening in my life that I don't like. I need to shift it. With men, I think it tends to be like something major has to happen for them to be like, okay, now like I gotta fix it. I gotta deal with it. Sometimes it's like, the loss of a mate. Or, maybe even a parent, I'm not sure, but like definitely the loss of a mate. Sometimes it takes them like hitting that rock bottom, like, oh my God, my world left me, for them to kind of shift. But then there's some men who might have been raised with a really strong male figure in their life, like a mentor or a grandfather or father that has really like shaped their experiences. So I don't want to say most men are broken, but I think it takes a while longer. Like let's say through our span of our life, like for women maybe in their 20s, that's when they kind of go through it and decide to make a change. But for men, it might take a little bit longer, and it might take something serious for them to actually deal with the things that have shaped their worldview and the way that they treat women.
Yeah, I think what sometimes is frustrating to me is I feel like we approach these conversations like Black women are the problem or Black men are the problem, as if our shit doesn't stink. Do you know what I mean? Like everybody has
Facts.
Their own hurts, their own traumas, their own dramas that they've gone through in their lives. And all of this builds us up to the person we are. And I think if we recognize as a people, like everybody is searching for love and acceptance where they can bring their full selves to the table without judgment, without, every time. I think a lot of times we take behavior from okay, so let me give you a really good example.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of men are taking the red pill because a lot of women have chosen to be thoughts. So you really can't blame men for not wanting relationships. Who wants to be betrayed?
I was talking to some black man that I love. I was talking to him, and for the first time, I felt like I really understood him, right? So, he came from a family that was not functional. And the level of the dysfunction was kind of reaching a precipice. And having come from that, it made him shy away from developing his own family because, one, he didn't think anybody would accept the him that operated outside of his family if they had to take the package that was his family, right? And two, he was afraid of duplicating that brokenness. Now, did he literally come out and say, this is how I feel? No, but that revealed itself through listening and understanding and loving through, everything that he was going through over a long period of time. And so for the first time, I was like, oh man, I really understand you. A black man that I love suddenly died. And I was talking to his mother, and she was telling me all of this stuff that happened to him when he was young that he had never told me about. And I thought, man, I would have understood him as a person so much more, right, before his death, if I would have known that backstory. I think women, we share our trauma much easier. We're talkers, we talk, we share. I think a lot of times when people act away towards us, we view it as an affront toward us, or we think it's about us or our unworthiness or the fact that we are not lovable, or he's just an ass, when we have to recognize that we don't know what causes people. 5 people can react in the same way, but their motivations can all be different. And I think we have to respect that and not attack each other inside of our community as men and as women simply because we don't understand what a person's trauma is that causes them to behave in ways that ultimately cause dysfunction in our lives, right? But this goes back to what Marsha was saying, which is vetting, which is carrying on a relationship with somebody for more than a year before you put yourself in a position where you might procreate with them, or you might end up in a situation that's going to leave you burned in a way that's going to be harmful to you. And also ties into what Ms. Botanica was saying, which is, essentially, all right, so I have a very submissive sort of way about me. And that would attract a lot of predatory men who like to control women, but not in a good way, right? And
True.
I had to recognize at some point that I was giving off a vibe that was attracting a certain type of man, and stop putting out that vibe. And I found that I've been around more positive black men now that the circles I run in and the things that I do with myself are different. That means that my conversation's different, the way I carry myself is different, who I talk to is different, who I end up engaging with through the people that I meet is different. If you're a drug addict and all you hang out with drug addicts, you might think everybody is high all the time. Everybody's using drugs, But step outside your circle. Some of us are sober, and I think relationships and what we encounter in life is kind of the same way.
I would agree. I agree with that. You change your circle, you definitely are going to get a different vibe. But, I say the but because, people think that about good neighborhoods too.
I want y'all to know that y'all know me. I have like tons of input. I'm just letting this ride, because I don't want to trigger anyone. Okay, because y'all know I'm going to like fly off the handle real soon. Okay, I just want y'all to know that.
Well, I'm moving to this great neighborhood and I'll be safe. Things happen everywhere. So, but we'll get more positive hanging around a different group of people, being around people who vibrate on a higher level or positive, will definitely get better.
What do you guys think is it?
See, Irene and Miss Marsha and Botanica, they're being incredibly PC right now, you know, and that's cool, but y'all know we're gonna have to have real conversation real soon. I'm gonna take this where it needs to go.
Advice for women, because I always, when women who have been hurt in relationships with Black men are given advice, I feel like the advice is always just leave these American Black men alone. Now, I think
Oh
you have to
shit!
be.
Okay, hold up. Whoa. Irene, you know I love you. Come on now. That ain't even what y'all be saying. That's what we be saying. Go ahead with all of that. See, Irene is slick. She tried to use a SYSBM concept, which is leave American Black women alone. She tried to flip it and say that Black women are saying that and y'all are not saying that. Not at all. Yeah, first of all, y'all will not leave us alone to save y'all goddamn lives. Especially if we got money and we in the streets and we got swag and we putting wood down. Y'all wouldn't refuse to leave us alone. Alright, so let's cut this bullshit. Y'all ain't about to go to Brazil like me, or Africa, or wherever, to go find another Black man. Y'all want us. So cut the bullshit.
Diaspora, Black is Black, right? So you can just pick, right? But to say like whole sections of Black men are broken, I've heard some women from Europe, some Black women from Europe go, oh, well, the Black men here are trash too, you know? So what do you think if a woman is looking for a healthy relationship within the Black community, then what do you think we need to put out as women, or where do you think we need to be searching for that? Or do you search, right? Do you just do the work on yourself and then you'll attract and know when to reject those people who aren't on the level, on the place they ought to be? Like, what is the strategy that we can give Black women for getting? Because remember, I want to think this because there's 60 people here now, but y'all weren't here earlier. These women that I'm talking to are here because they are in healthy, functional relationships with Black men who love them, who care for Black women, who are protectors, who are providers.
Puddin', please explain that, Puddin'. How do men give you the runaround? How do Black men give women the runaround? Explain this. Explain it.
Who care about our youth. They're all the things that we say are anomalies, right? All three of us are in relationships with men like this. So then how do you find that?
Well, definitely you want to take a look at yourself and what you're putting out, right? Like, you want to make sure that what you're...
Ladies, let me tell you this. You would not ever get dating advice, good dating advice from another woman, period. Women cannot and will not give each other good dating advice. If you want dating advice, if you want advice how to get a good Black man, or what type of Black man you need to get in your life, you get that advice from a Black man. That's who you get it from. You don't get it from your sisters, your cousins, your mothers. Much due respect, we love them. But you don't get it from them. You don't get it from your girlfriend. You don't get it from a female co-worker. You go find yourself a responsible Black man who takes care of his business, and you ask him, how do you get a good Black man? That's what you do.
You're saying that you want in a relationship, you actually are that. You want someone who is, not lazy and who is, smart and outgoing. You need to be that. You need to take care of yourself the way that you want someone to take care of you. And then also practice saying no to what you don't like. When you get that red flag of someone being like overly controlling or mildly abusive or whatever it is that you know that you don't want, like you have to start saying no, as opposed to just kind of putting it to the side because you want to be loved or because this person is showing you attention. Yeah, I mean I'll start down. I'll probably jump back in later on.
I would say, work on yourself. When you're working on yourself and you're happy, you just attract good things. You know, people are attracted to people who look like they're living their best life. You know, like you're doing what you need to do. You're going to school. You're going to work. You're accomplishing your goals. That's when the right people, most of the time, you know, this is still life. There's always a chance, but most of the time, the people who even think about stepping up to you are on your level. Everybody else, or the other men who are vibrating on lower levels, don't even, they're already intimidated, so they're not even gonna try. I mean, some broke people who have the audacity.
No disrespect to Miss Marshall, but she's a little confused. No disrespect to her. She's just a little confused. Or maybe she's having a difficulty articulating what she wants to say, but she's a little confused.
Most of the time, when you're vibrating on a higher level, and you're having a good time and you're living your best life, that's what you attract. And if it's not, like the Botanica said, you gotta use that no word. Like, oh, you can do this?
No single black woman is living her best life. That's a fallacy. If she's single, a single black woman claiming to live her best life is basically double clutching. She's racking up mileage. She's destroying her psychology by taking on a whole bunch of different penises. Yeah, no such thing as living your best life.
Yeah,
If you ain't got a husband and a family, and you ain't challenging racism, white supremacy, you're not living your best life.
Couple of friends who's gonna be real too. Like, yeah, straight up, like being like looking at yourself, being accountable for your actions. Sometimes we drive, you know, or we could drive a partner to, you know, go to the side that he doesn't want to go to. You know, so we also want to kind of take accountability and have our friends be that mirror for us too.
yeah, I'm glad you said that. What we view as love, right? Because sometimes we view, and sometimes we view dysfunction as love, right? So if you have a man that's very tempered, which a lot of healthy-minded men, right, men who are working on themselves, again, not.
Yeah. See, you know, I'm RedPill. Trying not to fly off the handle. Let's cut to the chase, ladies. Y'all don't want healthy-minded, sane, responsible, functional black men. That's not what y'all want. So cut the bullshit. Okay? Y'all want erratic, spontaneous, dysfunctional, outlandish, unpredictable niggas. That's what y'all want. Just be honest. Jesus Christ.
Not perfect men, but healthy-minded men, there are some things they won't engage in, right? They're not going to put their hands on you like that. They're not going to be trying to get into yelling matches with you. They might detach from you, you know? So if you start acting a certain type of way, and you might read that as, oh, he doesn't care. Because here I am, I'm bringing this, and he's like, okay, I'm detaching, you know? And willing to revisit it, you know, revisit you and your conversation at a later date, but then if you pull it again, he'll detach. And a lot of times we read that as like, he doesn't love me. Because if he loved me, he would get into this, you know, he would get into the dirt with me and we would.
Your brother is right, Puddin. Your brother is 100% correct. And don't use the term square, okay? But yeah, your brother's 100%. If you want a good man, if you want a good black man, you're going to have to get a good black man that It's not like me. Well, I can say me because I'm progressive. Okay, but you don't want a man, black man with felonies. You don't want a black man that's in the hood. You want a black man that is more stable.
We would have this conversation. But, we have to recognize sometimes in our dysfunction, we don't recognize what is functional. And we can read healthiness as not being loved. Whereas if we have a man where if we get up in his face and we're feeling emotional, or, because as women, we feel things very deeply, which makes us beautiful and amazing mothers, right? But men are meant to balance that. So you don't want a man who's going to be as emotional about a situation as you. But if we're always looking for that person that always responds with the maximum amount of passion, right? Then we are looking for somebody that is in essence unstable. And an unstable man, right, is going to be that man that is going to leave you in a precarious situation with children. It's going to be that man that might harm you, right? It's going to be that man where you don't know the reaction that you're going to get. So some of that stability that we're looking for, that comes through our choices, but then we have to exude stability too, because also recognize the men that choose to be with you, because it's a mutual choice, right? You're choosing him, he's choosing you, may not be the man that you're looking for, because healthy people might see something in you that they can't surpass. They might see the red flag and pass on you. So it could be that we're not that as women we're not meeting men that can meet our expectations. It's that they see something in us that recognize that they're like, this is probably not. I remember meeting a guy and he said something to me and I thought, yeah, this isn't going to work. I can see he's going to be the kind of person. Have you guys, I'm sure ladies, especially in the chat, you guys have met men who think that the appropriate way to control you is to bring you down, to put you down, right? In those situations,
That's a narcissist, okay, ladies. That's a narcissist. And if y'all are dealing with narcissists, it's because y'all are narcissists. Because the majority of y'all are narcissists, and I can prove it. If you got 100 selfies on Instagram and Facebook, you're a narcissist. What else? Shit. I can go down the list.
I know that's not a relationship I want to be in. So I met a man once, and I noticed, he had said some crazy crap to me, and I was like, oh, you're one of those. You're one of these dudes who feels that you have to make me feel bad about myself in order to control me, right? And so I backed off right away. Do you give off, like as women, do you give off, think about yourself, a healthy-minded person, something about you that might say, oh, she seems bitter. I don't want to deal with that. Oh, she seems, unstable in one way or another, right? She seems overly eager. Being too eager sometimes will turn a healthy-minded person off. Because unhealthy people jump into relationships and love quickly, right? We want to be loved right away. We want to have the relationship right away. That's a red flag to a healthy-minded person. They're like, oh, okay, so if you're falling into it deep with me real quick, how many times have you done that? That's a sign of instability. So are you scaring off healthy options? We have to think about that as women.
Yeah, I lost connection, but can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. Yeah, that was a great point, Irene. That whole jumping in quickly. Not only is it could it raise a flag for the other person, but also you're not taking the time to actually vet this person. I don't know if you already mentioned this, but yeah, you're not able to vet this person. You're not able to tell if this would be a good partner for you and your future family.
Here's a suggestion, ladies. How about I don't give up the box until a man proposes? How about that?
So yeah, great point.
Whoa.
No, I agree as well. And everybody's different, So sometimes you let off the right vibe, and sometimes everything's perfect, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes people have weird things that they deem relationship goals and other things that are deal breakers for them. So, but if you take the time, really take the time, you'll figure these things out. Definitely.
What about money?
Money?
Money. So
Money is absolutely necessary.
the other argument is black men are not providers, right? And that if you are quoting a black woman, you know, that men
Shit, we providers.
like are incapable of providing. So since they're incapable of providing, then why do we have to struggle with each other? What about that narrative? Like just struggling alongside a black man, lifting him up, building him, all that kind of stuff.
Money. I'm not going to say that matter because it does. It depends on what type of person you are.
We providers. We're in a system of white supremacy. I mean, we can only provide for so much. Jesus Christ.
Come from, you've been struggling all your life, that's probably not going to be somebody for you to get with because you just don't want to be in that type of position. Whatever trauma you have going on, you're not going to want to have to deal with struggling some more in your life, in your relationship. If you come from money, there's two things. Either you're going to come down from your level to this level, or you're going to help this man build himself up. Now, a lot of people don't want to do that because from what I've heard, and sometimes from what I've seen, there are men that when you build them up and you bring them to this level, it's called a starter wife.
They leave your ass.
Once they become this person, they no longer want to be with you because you saw them while they struggled. They want this new wife who just knows them as this Superman. As for me, I don't really care about money too much
Shit.
because not because I had a struggle in my life, it's just whenever I need something, it's given to me. However way it happens, and I just trust in that.
So for me, I was that girl who would choose the broke guy. Like seriously, my friend coined it.
I believe her too. I believe her.
Community service dating. So that's what I was. I was a community service dater. And yeah, I like after a while I was like, nah, I'm not doing it no more. Like, and then I attracted someone who creates money out of nothing. Like that was actually one of my standards. I had a whole list of standards, and one of them was specifically like I need to be with someone who has an abundance mindset and who can create money, you know, like consistently. So I get it. I get the, love that person for who they are, and that's fine, but
Ain't no romance without finance.
I know that the type of lifestyle I need to live, like the fact that I want to be a homeschooling mom. I'm not a mom yet. I'm soon. I'm 31. I still got time. But yeah, like not that.
Shit, clock is ticking.
That's not for me anymore. However, if someone is down at the moment, that's a different situation. Like there's certain attributes that a person who has an abundance mindset will have, even if they're not producing the money right now. You'll see that ambition. You'll see that they're not being lazy, that they're not like just sitting around all day wanting to be in your face and cuddle and whatever, and not actually do some work. And so I think those are the things to pay attention to. If you do meet someone who is down at the moment, seeing that there's no way that this person can be down for long term because of this person's work ethic, because the way that they think, speak, the choice of words that they use, you can see a broke mindset versus an abundant mindset. So.
I think that would come with time. I think that would come with time. You know, just actually getting to know somebody, and even if he's down at that point in time,
Truth be told, we really don't be wanting to hear all this shit y'all be saying. We just rather play PlayStation and have sex and just like leave us the hell alone.
when you got this conversation, you get
It's like out there.
and you figure out where he's been, where he's going, and the steps he's taking to get there. That's different, but yeah. I mean, I did have a list of things too, but I find that if you try to go by the list, it just doesn't really work out well. I don't, you know, I'm not saying I don't look at broke dudes, but you know, I keep it in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you lost your job, fine, but you had a job. You had this.
I had a job and white folks tried to find me, so I quit.
You had a business. Oh, okay, it failed. Things like that happen. That's fine.
I'll say this. You know, I literally have only gravitated to men that have money.
No
so
shit.
This is something that I really learned.
No shit, Irene. No shit, huh? You see, fellas, women are hilarious. No shit, Irene.
Not because I've never had financial struggles that weren't self-imposed, right? So I had a short period of my life where I just chose to like disengage my family, and I left my first marriage, and I just chose not to take, like, you know, I left a beautiful home just to kind of find myself and what I could do for myself. But overall, my life has been a very comfortable life. I feel that
we can hear it in your voice, Irene. We love you to death.
A lot of times, I feel like there are three types of Black people, right? There are those of us who might be second, third, fourth generational wealth, right? There are some of us that struggled when we were younger, like maybe our parents were working parents, and then we got degrees, and then we're like, our children are first generational wealth, right? And then there are those of us that are still poor, right? Because that's the legacy of slavery. And I find that people who have a close attachment to struggling because of growing up with like very...
We're all broke, Irene. There's very few Black people with money, all right? All of us are broke. No matter if we got 100,000 or 500,000, we're all broke, all right? Black people are broke. We all fucked up. We're broke, all right? And we need our reparations.
Little. To me, there's a sort of, like money and having money becomes an idol. And what I'm here to tell you that somebody having money does not make them a good catch. There are a lot of assholes with money. So they're excellent providers of money, of comfort, and poor providers of love and companionship, right? So I think there has to be a balance. Obviously, money is important for comfort. It's important for comfort, but it's not everything. You can be unhappy in a penthouse, right? Because I've been that person. You can be, you know, unhappy with everything. You can be unhappy wearing designer clothes, right? That is a thing that can occur. So I think it's important for the reasons Mr. Botanico was saying, like, you know, we definitely want to have somebody that's capable of providing us women, because we want to be able to give birth, right? We want to be able to stay with our babies if we can. We want to be able to homeschool and keep, you know, our young Black minds out of this system that, you know, starts to assault them from preschool. We want to be able to do those things and play our role as women. So money has a value. But I think that sometimes we press too much value, especially considering Black women excel so much in society over Black men, right? For various reasons.
Let me address that. Black women, the ones that do excel, I'm not going to take nothing away from you guys' work ethic. But do not make the mistake and think that you're excelling past black men just because y'all are working harder and we're not working hard enough. That's bullshit. White supremacy is allowing y'all to excel past us. It's divide and conquer, ladies. Alright? So let's not run with that narrative that black women are making all this money and so successful, and us black men are just in and out of jail and we fucking up. No. White supremacy is allowing y'all to excel. Okay?
Right? So the assault from the men of the status quo is lower on black women because we're not their direct competition. So we're able to get in places easier than black men are. So we take our degrees, we're the most degreed in the black community and things like that, and we reach a level and we're like, well, now I only want black men like me. There's a very small pool of those, right? And then money becomes a major factor. I understand wanting to date people of your intellectual superior, that are your intellectual superiors, that are your financial superiors, that are your moral superiors. We all deserve that. But at some point, we do also have to ask ourselves, and this is not settling, because settling would mean that money was the most important factor. I have, and my viewers know this, I have a scar on my neck where a money man shoved a knife into my neck.
Right?
So then the question is money the most important factor? And I also like to point that out because I feel like if I can have a black man attempt to take my life and I don't feel all black men are trash,
Right.
I really give little leeway to other women who would make that argument based on the fact that they had a relationship go on. Sometimes we let our personal experiences, dictate our view of the whole community, and it stops us from building together, right? So I say we need to reprioritize what dating down or dating up, or, I'm pro hypergamy, but then like,
Oh, she said pro hypergamy. Uh-oh. Here we go.
this is real life too, right? You can't just throw a check at every problem.
This is true.
Alright, family. I'm gonna do a part 2. Now, I ain't know Irene got stabbed by somebody. It's fucked up. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, family. We're gonna have more of these discussions. We can get to the bottom of this 74% single motherhood rate in our community. That is a fucking tragedy. I'm sorry. I mean, look, you just gotta be honest. Alright, family, so that's